That was so crispy. It just felt good.
That
felt really good.
Sounded awesome.
So obviously the advantage of playing an MB is you want this consistency in the spin. So you look at your spin rates with the MB, 6,600, 6,600, 6,500, 6,200.
One thing I know about my golf game is I'm a low spin hitter, and I'm very intentional with the golf ball I use because of that fact. Yeah. Those spin numbers with a 7-iron are, you guys called it unicorn land for me. Like, that's awesome. I love that.
Now we have, a forgiving blade, which, those two words were never used before in the same sentence, right? Forgiving and a blade.
So what we're hearing is you guys are doing some amazing things that have never really been, tried before with irons, right?
Yeah.
Can you walk us through these new 3D printed irons?
Yeah, so 3D printing has really unlocked a whole new playbook when it comes to iron design and iron performance. So what a lot of consumers are maybe familiar with our 3D printed tour of last year. We have 2 new models that we're bringing to the Total family franchise. So we have a new MB, which is a smaller muscle back shape and design.
For those better players,
For the better players. Okay. And then we have a 3DPX, which is more of a game improvement size shape that gives you a little bit more confidence, but still packed with the 3D printed performance that you can expect that you got out of Tour and the MB model as well. So
great.
So obviously the standard or the more traditional method of making clubs, you're casting, you're forging, you're doing things like that.
Correct.
You guys have found a way to layer, 2,600 different layers of stainless steel to create this using science and I don't know anything about that, or I wouldn't be in golf.
Yeah.
But what is the advantages of that and why is it different?
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, as we design a new iron, whether that's casting or forging, if we could save 2, 3, 4, 5 grams of weight here and there, with undercuts or hollow cavity, free floating faces, engineers get really psyched out on this. We're really excited about 3D printing because we're saving 100 grams of weight in an iron head. Okay, so awesome. We know that consumers are really liking this type of product and seeing the performance they're getting out of this. That's, you hit an MB that's very, very forgiving, where traditionally you miss hit an MB, and as you guys know, you can lose some ball speed and some distance pretty quick, and you hit something like that and hurt your hands. And something like this, you can, we've had somebody upwards of 8, 9, 10 handicap hit an MB that they've never, have been able to, and now they can aspire to hit one.
Yeah, no, I've always considered, like, when you're able to internalize that tungsten and be able to make something a little bit more forgiving, like an MB, right? I consider that like, undercover, like, performance, right? And I think you guys do a really good job there without losing the impetus for why you're making this, right? And being able to show this on the back and it looks really cool, because just immediately you can't create that off of a casting or a forge process to be able to create that design on the back.
No, and really that's that's exactly what the technology is. I mean, nobody else in golf is going to be able to do this. We've been working on 3D printing for a long time, and you're going to hear other brands talk about 3D printing irons, but those are just solid irons. Yeah. Really, our technology that's protected is the weight savings that's happening internally. Okay. So that's the lattice structure there, and that's where we're saving 100 grams of weight, which is unicorn land when it comes to iron design. I mean, nobody's ever been touted to save 100 grams of weight in an iron, and we're the first to do it. So we're really excited and really excited to get these into players' hands.
Yeah. What is some of the most common feedback you hear from people swinging and actually hitting these with the sound of it, the feel of it? Kind of talk me through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to sound and feel much like a forged product. Okay. We have that intricate lattice that is touching the back of the face, back of the cavity. So it's a solid construction. We're just saving all that weight in between the lattice. So, golfers are going to experience a forged-like product, but a forgiveness level that they've never experienced in a forged-like product. So it's printed. I think the best thing we could probably do at this point, we've been talking about this for a few minutes now. I think we should probably just head over to the hit bay.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Let you guys experience it yourself, and then you guys tell me how they feel.
Yeah,
so,
let's do it, man.
You guys want to do that?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Let's
Can't wait
do
to
it.
Yeah, Joe, so we're going to go through the whole family. Let's start with the largest one. We'll start with the 3DPX. We've got your gamer shafts here, the Modus 120X. We'll start with that. We're going to test all 3 with the same shaft on standard line angle. That way it's a fair test. We'll go through all 3 irons, see how the numbers change. You can comment on the look, sound, and feel. So let's start with the X.
Sounds good.
So again, like we said, that's going to be the largest of the 3. Still very clean looking shape. From a loft package. This is 29 degrees in the 7-iron. So, for modern 7-irons, that's not super strong, still very playable. So let's go ahead and test this and then let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
There's the fade.
Oh yeah. Am I aiming for the green? Should I aim a little left or something, or
Yeah.
do you care where I land it?
Well, that's your average shot, missing the green right.
Yeah.
That was a good strike.
Thank you.
That was much better.
There you go.
Get in there.
What irons do you play currently?
They rhyme with Titleist P150s.
So these, these will be a little longer, obviously, than what you're currently playing.
Yeah, they're a little
stronger.
bit. Absolutely. They do feel very nice, though.
Again, for the category of iron it's in, being a game improvement iron, usually those irons are, hollow, they have thin faces, and that's what makes them acoustically loud, whereas this is still a solid construction.
Yeah. Yeah, not loud at all.
So we talked about feel a little bit when we're talking about these irons. Now, after you've hit them a few times, how does it feel to you in comparison to some other irons that are in this category?
Well, with this one, I get feedback. Like I can actually feel the feedback of where I'm hitting it on the face, right? Which is good. I'm not hitting it very well at the moment, but I know exactly where it's hitting on the face. And you usually don't see that with game improvement irons, something that's a little bit more meat to it. Feedback is the only way to get better, to know exactly where you're hitting it and try to change that and work on it. So the feel is phenomenal. And like you said, I can hear the sound. Like you said, you can really hear a pop sometimes with those hollow body ones.
Right.
Not feeling it, not hearing that at all with this. It's very crisp.
Nice. Okay, give us one more here.
Yeah.
That's another nice strike there.
Yes, sir.
Get in.
Whew. If only I had 6 swings on the tee box, huh?
That 6 guy's good.
That's right.
Okay, let's look at the numbers real quick before we move into tour. So on average ball speed, 119, so plenty of speed. Launch 18.5 and spin right around 5,000. So again, for a game improvement iron, that's very playable. Some game improvement irons, we see as strong as 26 degrees, 27 degrees in the 7-iron. Those spin rates can get into those 4,000, which isn't really playable for a lot of golfers. So we got still plenty of playable launch and spin. 173 carry. Big thing I always look at in game improvement irons is descent angle and peak height. So your descent angle with the 7-iron was still at 46.5 degrees. So very, very playable. Again, like I said, some of those stronger lofted game improvement irons can get below 45 degrees and they're coming in quite hot. They'll be long for the golfer, but not very playable on the golf course. So, okay, now we've got our baseline with 3DPX. Let's move to the next one, 3DP Tour.
Let's do it.
Like we talked about earlier, these have been out in the market for about a year now. Have you hit these ones yet?
I have not.
Yeah, okay, so still first time.
Yep.
Again, from a loft package standpoint, these are a little weaker, 31 degrees, but again, that's a very modern 7-iron loft, so 31 degrees. So let's give these a whirl. That was really nice there, Joe.
Good swing.
So right away, just looking down, I can see a slightly tighter profile in terms of the head. Not very noticeable in terms of, it's not like I'm swinging one massive club and then one something extremely smaller. It's just very subtle.
Yeah, it's mainly top line thickness and offset you'll see.
So that one was a little toey.
Yeah.
Right there. Felt that right away.
So let's see what the ball speed is. Your ball speed's kind of been hovering around 119, 120. And that was 112. So, again, that was low in toe.
Yeah.
And we didn't lose a ton. That's still, rolled out to 168, so got away with it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Another good strike. So I know it's not a fitting, but I'd say so far this would definitely be a better fit for you. The tour so far, you're hitting it really nice. Much tighter grouping too.
And Joe, as we were talking about, one of the bigger things is you're not going to be hearing much of a different sound between these different irons, right? So from these few shots you've hit so far, no differences. I don't hear a difference in sound.
Yeah.
Do you?
No. From the X to this one, it's very, very similar. I would not be able to tell the difference between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of it, right? Because they're all the same construction. You know, we've seen already a lot of combo sets with these, so it makes it really easy to combo together when they sound and feel really similar. Another good one there, Joe.
Thank you.
Without even looking at the numbers, you definitely hit those better.
Yeah.
But let's dive in here.
And again, important thing to note, I mean, same shaft, right? Same length, same everything. It's just all we changed was the head.
So that's pretty cool right there, right? Your ball speeds were identical. Launch came up a little bit, which makes sense. You have, you know, a little more loft. Spin was a little higher. Peak height was a little higher. Total distance was about the same. So again, like we talked about, these irons are very family-like. They perform very similar. You're not going to have big deviations in spin and launch as you go through the family. Again, so same thing. Spin, ball speed, and sound and feel are all going to be very, very similar.
Yeah.
One thing to touch on, why these are probably better for you than the X's. We haven't talked about the sole width yet. So the X has a wider sole width, more bounce. You're not a super steep player. You know, your attack angle is -2. So we'd call that, you know, pretty shallow.
Okay.
This sole being narrower would be better for you getting it. I know we're indoors right now, but outdoors with your shallow attack angle, that narrower sole would get in and out of the turf a lot better for you.
Okay.
Okay, MB.
MB, let's try it.
Okay, Joe, 3DP MB now, muscle back.
All right.
So we're in the smallest one now. Loft, and this is 34 degrees, so a very traditional, you know, muscle back.
Yeah.
You know, beautiful traditional muscle back shape, but with all that 3DP technology in there.
Yeah, this is a pretty club though. I love the shape. I love the smaller profile, and I know a lot of golfers out there do as well. Right? It's an important thing, but it doesn't look like a butter knife, which is nice. Still has a confidence building shape to it, but I can see the MB aspect of it just right away.
Yeah, as we know, we're all golfers here. Like, golfers are aspirational. We want to play the smallest club in the blades, and now we have, you know, a forgiving blade, which, you know, those two words were never used before in the same sentence, right? Forgiving and a blade. So let's head him out and test him out.
That was so crisp. He just felt good. That felt really good.
It sounded awesome.
Another good one.
Yeah, felt really good. And honestly, I can feel that it's going to be a workable club for people who like to work the ball. I mean, I don't know if it's an intuition thing, but it just feels like, oh, if I wanted to draw this, I probably could right now, right? And be consistent with it. Yeah,
and that's the advantage of an MB. Like, if you play a super high MOI club, a game improvement club, it actually becomes harder to curve the ball. So if you are a golfer that likes to, you know, fade it into a right pin or hit a draw into a left pin or flight it, it's easier to do with something like this, right?
Yeah.
Another good one.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Really nice, Joe.
Good swing.
One more?
Yeah, one more.
Okay. Just a little groove low. Spin probably shot up a little bit.
Yeah, let's see what happened to the numbers there. Yeah, so that you hit, you know, pretty low on the face and a little bit toe, and your ball speed went from like 118 to 115. That's pretty impressive out of a muscle back. A normal muscle back, you know, you would have been 10, 12 yards short of your carry distance, where that's still rolled out 168, so it probably wouldn't put you in much trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the numbers. So that ball speed one, that's pretty cool, right? We look at the first one there, ball speed. So with the X, you were 119, the Tour, you were 120, and with the MB, you were just under 119. So it's not like this iron is going to be 5 miles an hour slower.
Yeah.
Although this one being the weakest lofted at 34 degrees. Launch came up again, spin came up again. Other carry was a little bit shorter. But the cool thing was this, I don't know if you can see it, the dispersion with the MB was the tightest.
Super tight.
So obviously the advantage of playing an MB is you want consistency in the spin. So you look at your spin rates with the MB, 6,600, 6,600, 6,500, 6,200, 6,500, and your carries were super tight, right?
That jumps out to me a lot. I am one thing I know about my golf game is I'm a low spin hitter, and I'm very intentional with the golf ball I use because of that fact. Yeah. Those spin numbers with a 7-iron are you guys called it unicorn land for me. Like, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, because you're a shallow player, you don't have a super steep attack angle, you don't create a lot of spins. Loft is actually your friend. So maybe in the past where you couldn't play an MB from a forgiveness standpoint, you could actually benefit from the loft. And like spin is what gives you distance control, right? Especially in our scoring clubs or short irons. You know, if you carry a 700, 170 or 164, you want it to go that number every single time. When you have good spin, it's going to do that. When your spin gets really, really low, that's when you get those jumpers or flyers and the inconsistencies in carry. It's really, really cool stuff for you. Again, I know this is not a fitting, it's more to showcase the product, but I think, you know, in my head, I'd be thinking you're probably a good candidate for maybe a couple tours in the long irons, and I think you could play these in the short irons.
Yeah, you heard it here first, guys. I can play these. That's music to my ears. Yeah, these were. I would instantly throw these in the bag. That's fantastic numbers.
Yeah, I love that dispersion.
Yeah,
I would have said the same thing, like 4 and 5, maybe the 6 iron in the tour, and then all the way down to pitching wedge with the MB.
Yeah,
that's great.
And Mitch knows my game more than probably most people. So for him to say that, I mean, you know. Comes
I don't want your ego, confidence get too high. I'm gonna have to tear you back down a little later, but that's pretty awesome. You hit those really well.
There was the one shot. It was it shows the trajectory, kind of this picture, but all the shots itself. Yeah, that one there. Like that's what I love. Just seeing the consistency of my ball flight, which is that little fade, and just even with that one, that one little guy there on the bottom. Still very close, very manageable.
And 3 of those you hit one after the other within 5 feet of each other, landing zone. Like that was really cool. I haven't seen you do that ever, which is great.
Again, Mitch knows my game. And
yeah, and one more thing to touch on, like also we just tested these on standard line goal. If I was actually fitting you, I'd probably go a little bit upright, and that'll probably take out a little bit of that fade for you, because you are coming in a little bit toe down dynamically. But again, we wanted to just test these irons in a fair field to see how the numbers compared. But yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you want to see more videos, be sure to check out the channel.